I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kudash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also want to acknowledge all the Akyam who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth, all right? And this is Shabai from the GMS Denver. And I'm going to go in on, through the Spirit, I just decided to do a lesson on the word, on the plagues, and the word plague, all right? And so here's the definition in the blue letter. It tells you right here, it's a pestilence or a plague, a murrain, cattle disease, or cattle plague. All right, so you had plagues is dealing with cattle. But then I go into the Oxford Dictionary plague definition, and it says a contagious bacterial disease characterized by fever and delirium, typically with the formation of buboes. And then the example says the bubonic plague. All right. So, plagues deals with pestilence, which like it deals with like infection or sickness. But also there's other plagues, right? And here's another definition of plague. Because the reason why I'm doing this is because Babylon is getting ready to suffer plagues here. There's going to be many plagues that Babylon's going to encounter. All right. So let's go into this word also, plague. Another has a verb. The definition for plague. The first one I read was as a noun, right? Which goes into like the infection of the lungs or sickness, right? Or like pneumonia, that could be a plague. An outbreak could be a plague, right? An outbreak of a disease like the COVID, that was a plague to Babylon. All right. So I'm going to go also in this other verb definition for the word plague in the Oxford Dictionary. It says cause continual trouble or distress to. All right. And the example says he has been plagued by ill health. Right. And so really cause continual trouble or distress. There's a lot of things that could fit under that category as a verb for the word plague, right? But when you go into these words, a lot of this word plague, it's dealing with diseases and epidemics and a high rate of mortality. Pestilence is a word that keeps coming up when you look it up. But I want to focus on that verb because it says cause continual trouble or distress to. All right. So you could even look at the prophets. We're a plague to this place, because we're basically causing continual trouble to Babylon, right? Where we're exposing, the devil. We're exposing, who he is, and the Lord, like it tells you in. I'll go back to this. Let me get to the Bible here, right here. I'll go back to that though. It tells you in Thessalonians, because remember, in ancient Egypt, when Moses showed up on the scene, he plagued Egypt. He literally told Pharaoh that he was going to bring all these different plagues to ancient Egypt, right? Or that Yahweh was going to bring the plagues, but he was the messenger, right? So that's what we're doing right now. We're telling you here in spiritual Egypt, which let me grab that. Is it Revelation 18:11? No. Let me see. Revelation 11:8. I was going to 18:11. So it says in Revelation 11:8 says, "And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified." Right, and this is talking about Babylon, America, right? But we know Babylon, America is spiritual Egypt, spiritual Sodom. All right, and just like I said, in ancient Egypt, Moses, he talked about he was warning Pharaoh, telling him that the plagues was going to hit ancient Egypt, and that's the same thing that we're doing here now in spiritual Egypt. We're warning the Pharaoh, which the Pharaoh right now it's about to be Donald J. Trump, right? And we're telling him, that's why he's even spoken on us in interviews. He's saying, we gotta forget about what these prophets of doom say. If you look it up, he's got speeches when he's speaking, calling men prophets of doom, and they're talking about us because we're the ones who are telling you that this place is going to be plagued and doomed, right? So let's see. Let me grab these similar words. For plague, there's similar words in the verb context. So it says to afflict, to cause suffering, to torture, to torment, to trouble, to dog. They say, oh, he dogged you out. That's kind of that. Well, not kind of. That's what the Lord's men are doing to Babylon, America. We're dogging this place out. We're telling them, this place is through. Right? We're telling you this place is through. We're telling you that there's no hope for Babylon, right? We've been telling you, no matter who was going to get elected, there was no healing for Babylon. Nothing's going to save Babylon. Like Donald Trump, he's telling you the MAGA. He's been speaking about that since 2016, right? The MAGA movement, which MAGA, when you go into that word MAGA, it means witch, and we know this place is the capital of witchcraft on the planet Earth. You know what I'm saying? For a lack of better terms, Babylon, America is the capital of witchcraft, because all of the witchcraft that's done here, whether it's the food, the religions, the people, the entertainment, it's all witchcraft. And it's no coincidence that because these wicked elite, they play with these words. They got you screaming out at the Donald Trump rallies, screaming out MAGA, which when you go into that word MAGA, it goes back to magic. And it literally goes into, it means witch. And so this place is a home for witchcraft. And this is why our people are destroyed, and eventually they're going to be plagued. Right? And we're we're exposing this place. The Lord's using us, his mouth, his prophets, to expose this place, right? 2 Thessalonians 2:8, it says, "And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom Yahweh shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan and all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved." And that's talking about Israelites, because 2/3 of our people, they'll even join into that MAGA bullshit, 2/3 of you so-called Black, Latino, Native Americans, you're going to fall for that. That's why it says deceivableness, right? Because you're going to get deceived. You want to back up Trump. You got Latinos for Trump. You got blacks for Trump. Black women for Trump. Hispanic women for Trump. All this bullshit. which is all an act. It's all deceiving you. Because like it tells you in the Maccabees, let's grab that. Because you know that you're gonna get a lot of and you're gonna get a lot of our people getting fucked up on day one when Trump starts to unleash his mass deportation. Because you get a lot of people who look like well, they call us aliens, right? Even though we're this was our land before it was anyone else's land. But the white man, he'll call you an alien, right? An illegal alien. And you got a lot of so-called Hispanics, so-called Latinos, the Northern Kingdom, that looks like what they demonize that word. They call them an alien, and they're gonna fuck you up, even though you might be legal and you might have been here for your whole life. You're gonna have conflicts when he does that mass deportation because you look like the alien, man. You Northern Kingdom, even if you were born in America, right? So let's go into this real quick. First Maccabees 1:30. It says, "And spake." This is talking about the so-called white man, right? During the time of the Greeks. It says, "And spake peaceable words unto them." So that's what Donald Trump. He's speaking peace. He's telling you, hey, man. We love our Latino community. We love our black community. You Israelites out there, he's telling you he loves you guys, and that always speaking well of the what they call so-called minorities, which were actually the majority, right? But they're going in speaking peaceable words to us. But it says, let's see what it says. "And spake peaceable words unto them, but all was deceit. For when they had given him credence, he fell suddenly upon the city and smote it very sore and destroyed much people of Israel." So that's what they're going to do again. You got these so-called minorities, the so-called blacks and so-called Latinos and Native Americans. You give that devil credence, meaning you start to give him credit. You start to believe his words, and next thing you know. You're going to mistakenly deported or you get shot in the street if you're a Southern Kingdom brother. You know what I mean? Anything could happen with this devil. And he's going to show his horns, man. It tells you in Revelation 12:12, he's going to show his horns, man. "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time." Right? He knows he has a short time, so that's why he's moving the way he's moving. You know what I mean? That's why he's announcing on the first day he's gonna do he's gonna break records. Deportation is gonna be magnified on a ginormous level. You know what I'm saying? Those are his promises, and those are hyping people up over here in Babylon. Even the so-called blacks and Latinos are hyped up for that. I've seen it, until they're getting caught in the crossfire, right? You can't trust this devil, man. Let me grab this other precept real quick. Psalm 55:21. It says, talking about the wicked. Well, let's read 20. It says, "He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant." Right, so that's the nature of the so-called white man. Who biblically the Lord calls them the Edomites. Right, the children of Esau. The children of Esau. All right, so it's in his nature to break covenants, meaning breaking agreements. You look into the history of the Native Americans, so-called Native Americans. You had Esau was making treaties with them, and then they would just go in there and break the treaties. They'd make an agreement. They had, like they say, the minute you give him credence, he fucks you, backstabs you. He turns against you just as soon as you let your guard down. Why do you think a lot of you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, a lot of you motherfuckers died? You have family members that died during his COVID-19. When they took the jab. Oh, my father had a heart attack, or my father had a stroke, or he had blood clots. When you look into those that medical inoculation, right, that they used, the COVID-19, all that stuff stems from that inoculation he gave you. I think I'm saying that word right. When you took the jab, there's all kind of complications that comes with it. Yeah, you might have been one of the lucky ones who didn't have immediate discourse or immediate negative response to the jab, but now they're coming out, saying how that vaccination is slowly deteriorating your immune system, fucking up your cells, all kinds of shit, and why? It's because you trusted your enemy. Oh, I gotta get that verse. It says right here, he has put forth his hands against such as to be at peace with him. He has broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet they were drawn swords. And that's what he's going to do, man. And then he did that with you I'm going to go back, keep saying it, with the jab. Because, like our elder apostle Tahar, he brought it out, years ago, 3-4 years ago. He said, man, that inoculation, that jab, it's a little sword, literally. It's a little sword. And how did he do? He had swords drawn on your ass. That's why I've seen people, that took that jab, or we call it the jump shot. There's a lot of code words we use for that. But they took the jump shot, and like my boss's wife, for instance, she's probably around my age, around late 40s, early 50s, and she had a heart attack, and then she had a stroke. She had to learn how to walk again, and why? Because she laid down her guard. She trusted her enemy, right? Because I believe she's a Northern Kingdom. I'm not sure, but if I had to guess, I believe she's Northern Kingdom. But she trusted Esau, And let me read this again. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet they were drawn swords. And that's how Donald Trump is, man. Because you understand, these presidents are molded for years before they give them the title president. Because what you call an election, the more accurate word is a selection, because they've already selected those presidents from years before to fulfill their agendas. All right, and most people are too much in darkness to believe that statement, Salaki about the stupid ass dog over here making noise. But you can't trust your enemy, man. Let's get that real quick. Sirach, I think it's 10:12 or 12:10. Ecclesiasticus, aka Sirach, 10:12. Is it 10:12 or 12:10? Oh, it's 12:10. Ecclesiasticus 12:10. It says, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Right? Let me read that. I'm going to read that more. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna read this whole section, because I was going to grab the Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. So we'll read Ecclesiastes 12 12 and 10, it says, never trust thine enemy. For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. So is that when there's a plague and a pestilence, is that when you're supposed to trust your enemy? No, man. The scripture says never trust thine enemy. If you're an Israelite, you never trust your enemy. You never make a covenant with the heathen. You know, and the word covenant means agreement. Let me grab that real quick. Let me get that word. Let me give that verse. You might think they're your friends, and you might think they like you, and they have you know what I'm saying, that they have their best interest. Your best interest is in their heart. But the truth is, no. You never trust your enemy. That's what the Bible says, man. Let's get Exodus 23 and 32. And we'll start at this is talking about heathen, right? It's talking about, in this case, the Philistines, which are heathen. Those are Hamites, you know. But the heathen is any nation, any tribe outside of the tribes of Israel. So really, the outsiders of the tribes of Israel, you don't trust any of them, all right? And for damn sure, you don't want to be trusting Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, who is the wicked according to the Bible. Exodus 23 and 31. And I will set thy bounds from the Red Sea, even unto the sea of the Philistines, and from the desert unto the river. For I will deliver the inhabitants of the land into your hand, and thou shalt drive them out before thee. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor with their gods. You see that? Yahweh was telling you. Yahweh was telling you, man. You make a covenant with any of these heathen nations, guess what? Let's see what's going to happen. Verse 33. They shall not dwell in thy land, lest they make thee sin against me. For if thou serve their gods, it will surely be a snare unto thee. And a snare means trap. So that's what that jump shot, that machination, you know, that was a trap to the Israelites. I'm telling you, you might know somebody in your family, and not just the Israelites, all of the nations, but we're focused on Israel, right? But the thing is, you know, these people that gave credence, these people that trusted that snake, and they ended up dying. They had a heart attack, or they fucking had a stroke, or they're having all kind of complications. They blood clots. I met this dude one time at the gym. He had blood clots from that jump shot, and he was not an old. He was young, you know. He was around my age, in his 40s, you know. And motherfucker had his leg amputated because he had a blood clot because he took that jump shot. You know, and you got idiots who are still taking those things. You know, matter of fact, I know somebody. When I was telling him, I was telling him, you know, you shouldn't take it. I wasn't getting all scriptural on him or biblical on him, but I was just telling him, you shouldn't take that jump shot. You shouldn't take that another machination. And he didn't listen to me. He goes, takes it. This particular person, he goes and takes it. Next thing I know, I find out the day after he took the jump shot again, because he took like over and over, right? He ends up having to be rushed to the emergency room because he had some type of blockage in his urine system. He couldn't piss. And he freaked out, and he went to the fucking emergency room and it was like a day after he took that thing. You know, call Allah Yahweh Bashem Yashai. It's at 10:44. All right. So you never want to trust the enemy, man. Because just like we're here set up to put plagues and tell them about the plagues that is going to, you know, that's going to come to Babylon, America, just like the ancient prophets, just like our forefather Moses did in ancient Egypt. Well, right now here in spiritual Egypt, we're warning you about the plagues. And if you don't take heed, you don't listen to the Lord's men, the Lord's servants, the Lord's mouth, the Lord's prophets, guess what? You're going to get caught up. All right, and Esau, you can never trust him. It tells, we just read, never trust thine enemy. Not when there's pestilence, not when there's plague, Not when it's not when it's a Sunday, not when it's a Saturday, not when it's a Tuesday, not when it's a Wednesday. Any day of the week, you don't trust your enemy, man. You see? Let's go back to Ecclesiasticus 12:10. It says, I'll read it again. Never trust thine enemy. That's plain. All right? There's no gray area. That's black and white. It doesn't say sometimes you can trust the enemy, or if you want, you can trust your enemy, if he seems like he's acting cool and he's acting not. No. There's a thing called deception. People are deceived all the time. You let your guard down with the wrong person, especially with the wrong with the Edomites. Hey, it's going to be a snare unto you. Like we read, you don't ever trust the enemy. You never make a covenant with the enemy. You never do shit with the enemy. You avoid the enemy until the time comes when it's time to get down, right? But that's not it. We're not in that time yet. The Lord says He's going to bring fishers and then hunters. So right now we're still fishers. We're not hunters right now. So just stay away from your enemy if at all possible. And I know you got to go to work. You got to deal with different heathen people and shit, and even of our own people. You know what I'm saying? But there's a time and a place for everything. But the one thing there's never a time for is there's never time to trust the enemy. Verse 11. Though he humble himself and go crouching, see, he'll humble himself, act like he's humble, and boom, as soon as you let that guard down, you ain't gonna listen to the prophets, you ain't gonna listen to the Lord's men. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. Beware of him, man. The Lord has He give us the blueprint. He's warning you. He's using his men to warn you. He's putting his words in our mouth. We're warning you. I'm warning you on this lesson. Don't trust your enemy. It says, and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. Set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. So he'll take over your shit. That's how this enemy is. That's how he moves. Even with, like you see with these women and shit. You got a lot of men who they encourage, and it's even our people do this shit. But you introduce men to your woman, or men to your wife, or whatever, your girlfriend. And next thing you know, through time, they act humble, they act like they're cool with you, and you let your guard down. Next thing you know, that your woman's leaving you for some other dude that you introduced her to. You know what I'm saying? And that's why we don't bring women around our church, our camp. The women is separate. We keep that separate. See? Because, hey, even our own people are in the spirit of Esau, and they don't give a damn about adultery. They don't care about, they don't value, they don't trust, they don't keep the laws and the statutes and commandments of Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua. Just because, the law says, that an adulterer shall be put to death. Not in Babylon. You can be an adulterer or adulteress, you're not going to be put to death. That's how wicked this place is. And you got our people in that mindset of a heathen. And they've made covenants with the heathen because, they know that they're not going to go to jail or prison or be put to death for committing adultery, And I'm kind of all over the place, but it's all the spirit, whatever the spirit, makes my mouth utter, that's what we go with, right, with these lessons. Because originally I was just going to go in on the plagues, but it obviously changed. The spirit changed directions, Which, the stuff we're talking about is a plague. Even your enemy could be a plague. We're a plague to our enemy. So also, of course, your enemy can be a plague to you. Especially if you have because we're in the middle of all these heathen, these people, they have the mindsets of heathens. So it becomes a plague, That's why right now I'm not even dealing with a woman, just because, I got to lower myself just to be around a woman, Just for a piece of ass, you gotta basically lower yourself, You gotta change because you know what I'm saying? You got simps, they'll entertain a woman by talking about whatever the woman wants to talk about. We're in a time now where, yeah, it's nice when the Lord throws you a bone here and there, with a woman. But the thing is, when you're really on fire and you're fervent for this knowledge and this truth, you really don't have time for that woman. You don't have time to go chase women or to go get a piece of ass. You're more focused on this truth. Now, I'm not saying that you're wrong if you go get some ass. I ain't saying that, but that's what it is, man. We're just at a time where you gotta jump through loopholes, just to get a piece of ass, and sometimes you just gotta say fuck it. It's not even worth it. You're spending time, you're spending money, spending you even gotta lower yourself, like I'm saying, man, just to be around these damn heathen women, because the majority of these women are in a heathen mindset. And the men for sure, they don't respect the laws, they don't respect the adultery law, they don't respect that. So let's read 12. But that's what it says, set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. That's like what I was talking about. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words, and be pricked therewith. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts? So who's going to pity that person who trusted that serpent? The charmers, they call them the snake charmers. They have every time I think of that, you think about those dudes in India that be with the little things on their head and with the little flute making a snake dance and shit. Who pities that dude when he gets bit by that snake? Nobody, because he's always put himself in that position to get bit by a serpent. Like the dude, what's his name? Not Crocodile Dundee. What the fuck is that dude's name? The fucking the dude that used to the crocodile hunter. That dude. Nobody was surprised when he died from some shit, and he knows he was a crocodile hunter. And Cat Williams did the joke. He got killed. The crocodile hunter got killed by a starfish. So the thing is who pitied that dude when he was always putting himself in those dangerous situations? That's the same thing with Esau Edom. You trust Esau. You want to put yourself and give credence to Esau Edom, the so-called white man. You want to give him a green pass that you make an agreement with him, a covenant with him, a treaty with him. You know what I'm saying? No one's gonna pity you. You don't deserve pity when that serpent bites you. You see? Because that's what he is. He is the serpent. He was that serpent in the Garden of Eden. Because that was a metaphor. Eve wasn't talking to actual serpent. She was talking to Edomite, something with the Edomite spirit. Because that was before Esau Edom came around. But the thing is that was that serpent, that old serpent tells you in Revelation, right? Because you go to what is it? Genesis 3 talks about that serpent. What's his characteristic? Verse 3. I'm sorry, Genesis 3:1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath the Most High said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. And the woman, she goes on to basically trust the serpent. I'm not going to read this whole story, but she trusted in that serpent. She trusted in her enemy. No one's going to pity you. Especially the men of the Lord. We find out you had a heart attack, or you had a blood clot, or you had a fucking allergic reaction to what's coming next is that micro C hip. You had any type of sore on your hand because you took that RFID C hip. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna have no pity on you because you've been fucking with the serpent. You've been trusting in the serpent. And that's gonna be a plague to you. Like I started this lesson. So, hey, I'm going to go ahead and close out on that. I think the point's been made. You never trust the enemy. You never trust that subtle serpent. Because that's even how in nature, a snake, they're subtile. They don't, like a dog, or you hear how loud these dogs are? If a dog's going to attack you, he's going to attack you. He's barking at you. He's coming at you, growling and shit. But that serpent, he's going to slither through that grass. You ain't even going to see him. And bam. He's going to fucking bite you. That's the same way Esau Edom moves, right? So just Always remember that. Never trust thine enemy. With that, I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahoshai, Bahashem, Rekah Kodash. Double honors goes out to the other apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also, I want to acknowledge the Akim who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And shalom to the elect. Shalom.